This conference will now be recorded.
हाँ हूँ खेली हूँ
Yes, Priyanka, I think it's recording now. Okay, let's start.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the last day we saw some examples about how can we create new services and how we transform
Yeah.
the data to the Postman.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Postman. Actually, Postman is a plugin that is already installed in the Chrome
I am
browser. You can use directly that. So it's a Chrome plugin. Okay, so that how can we make a post call with different arguments? So now it's unable to get the response because the server is not yet started. So we have to start the server first. Now we have started the server. Now we are making the call. And it's giving you the data, okay?
Yes.
So to do it, we will see one more thing. So what we are doing is we are directly hitting app.js. From the app.js, the controller is coming to the roots and the slash get user detail is invoked. From here, it is going to the service layer, that is JSON service. We have required JSON service, set it off, and the parameters are passed inside the service. And this method is being called. This is how it was working. Okay. Now we'll do one more thing. So whenever we are trying to require, so we have seen some examples for requiring a particular JS file or particular module. So how are we going to require the entire folder? In real-time examples, you won't do like this. I mean, you won't call like file by file. Generally, you will call as an entire folder. So from that folder, you can access the files inside that. So let's see one example. So now let's take it. Service is a folder, right? So now we are directly accessing JSON service inside service. So here, let's create one more file. JSON service 2. Okay, .js. It's a file. It is. So now the services is a folder that contains two files, JSON service 1 and JSON service 2. So in the root, I'm directly accessing, instead of accessing like this, I'm trying to access the entire folder. Okay, now I'm just passing JSON on the folder name, that is services. So now the question is how, if I point to a folder, how it will find the files inside and how the method will be working. So the flow starts. So if you are whenever you are trying to give an entire folder name in the require, first it will search for the index file. So
Yes.
let's create one index file inside this. .js. So in this index, now we are going to connect all subfiles to this index file like this. I'm creating one object inside this file and I'm exporting that. Okay. So whenever you are trying to require the entire folder, it will search for the index file. And from the index file, I'm exporting the service object. So I'll get an object there. So now I'm accessing service 1 here. Now I'm connecting service 1 and service 2 here.
Okay. Through the object.
Yes. So in the service 1, I'm requiring JSON service. And in service 2, I'm using JSON. So in the roots, I'm requiring the entire folder services. I'll get the JSON service. Instead of the inside the entire folder, I need only service 1. So now I'm trying to build my application. Let's check with console logs.
It's in the same folder, so do we need to give dot slash?
Yes, dot slash in the sense in the same folder. If you are giving double dot slash, it will come out of
Out
one
of
step.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought just one dot is out of one step, so
No, no, dot slash is in the sense the current directory. See, actually, those files are not yet added here. Why? Okay. So you got it right. It is placed inside the public folder.
Mhm.
Actually, this should be out of this one. Now it will be working. Yes, now the service is loaded. I'm trying to hit that, and it is loading the data.
Mhm.
I'll explain you now how it works. So first, the service call hits to the root. It's checking for the get user details, and here we are requiring the folder instead of a particular file. So in
Yeah.
real-time examples, we will write everything as the modules and the functions. So we will package all the related modules inside a single folder, and we will require that folder wherever we need it. Okay. So, and inside that single package of module, we will write one index.js that will connect with all the dependent services like this. And from there, we'll use everything inside. Okay. You got the flow, right? So
Yes.
now we are making one services folder. Now the index would be loaded there. From the index, again we are requiring the two services inside this, and we are exporting as an object. So inside the root, I'm directly getting that services by requiring the entire folder, and I can use any particular object from that. So now the service one is an object that's holding the entire data of the service one, and I'm directly accessing the get user details. So this is how the flow works. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, next we'll see. So now I'll explain you how a callback works. So the last day already we discussed it. In the get user details, we have four parameters. One is user ID, address, name, and the fourth one is a parameter that is an entire method. This is called a callback method. What we are doing is we are just trying to call the JSON service get user details and passing this entire method as the callback method.
Like
So
return.
inside that get user detail, it will process all the data. Once the data is processed and it is ready to return the value, it will immediately call this method that is passed as an argument. So now the control will be passed here. If there is error in the first or in the first argument of that method calling, we will pass the error. If it is a success, we will pass that success value. That's why the first argument is error here, and the second argument is result. If it is success in that result, we will get the result. Otherwise, we will get error. I mean, are you clear? Or it is a bit confusing because the callback concept is very important in Node.js.
I understand.
Okay. Now we will see this. Yeah, here we are calling this as a full method. So what we are doing is here we are passing null for the error, and we are passing the temporary object as an result. So we are getting that. So what will happen if I pass this temporary in the first argument instead of passing null? Can you guess? Now I'm passing the temporary argument. I'm calling the callback, but I'm not passing the null. So now what will happen? So now I have two consoles. One is inside error block and another one is inside result. So now which flow will work? Now we are hitting the same service. change it here. So now I'm passing TMP as the first argument. I'm just swapping the values. I'll be starting the server. Now I'm hitting the value. Now you can see that the control is coming into, I'm inside error. But the
Yeah.
error is what the response is sent it back. You got it right?
Yes.
Actually, we are throwing some error from there. But in the place of error, we have passed the entire argument. But in real-time examples, in the place of error, we won't pass the entire result here. Simply, we will pass some errors. Otherwise, what will happen is, whenever from the Anglo side they are waiting for the response, they will check whether it is coming in the error side or response side. If it is something is coming in the error side, they will treat that as an error, even if you are passing the valid value, and they will show us the error message to the UI. Here, it is the data is valid, but we have passed that in the error block. Okay,
Yeah.
so we should be careful in the arguments. So always in the Node.js, always the first argument should be the error method, error argument in the callbacks. Why? Because we shouldn't miss that error to be passed. Otherwise, if some errors are coming inside any of the services or folders, then the server will be automatically crashed. So if there are some errors are thrown, that should be passed to the root level. So always we are passing errors as the first argument. So we won't forget to pass that error.
Okay.
Okay. So so this is the correct syntax. Now I'm passing null as the error. Suppose, okay, we'll see some real-time examples how an error can be thrown. Okay. So now this is just a small example, right?
Yes.
So let's see one real-time example. Okay, in real-time applications, most of the times we'll take data to the node server from downstream systems. The downstream systems in the sense that can be an API service call or database connectivity like that. We can take data from database and process that. Otherwise, we'll take data from some downstream systems using some API service call, and we'll process the data and send back to UI. Now we'll see one example for taking data from downstream system. Okay. For that, we have a module called request module in npm. You can see this. This is a request module. This will make some HTTP client requests from node side. So you can pass some downstream URLs here and you will get the data based on the error and response. So let's go for it. And let's write this in JSON service 2. Downstream details. So here I'm going to request the request model. Using that request module, I'm going to make some service calls from here. I'm going to create a post service call method now.
Okay.
First one is the URL I'm passing, and font data is the arguments that is needed. Again, here also as it is an asynchronous call, we are going to pass one callback method as an argument. Here, and the callback send the error back. Else, the callback method send the response. I shouldn't write like this. If I write like this, in the success also response will be passed to the error argument. So I should write like null comma response. Okay, the first argument is error in the callback.
Yes.
So now I need to write a URL. So for using downstream systems, there are some open source websites that have deployed some APIs in the system. Something called a request response. Okay. So it is an open source API. This is a REST API that is held by some team. If you hit their URL, they will give you some sample response. For development purpose, we can use this.
Yeah.
For example, you can see here, they have given some URLs. If you hit this, you will get this data. Okay, so let's have a try with Git. First, let's check whether this URL is working or not. It's a get URL, so we are passing get method here, and so now they are giving us response. You got it? So we are
Yeah.
just hitting this URL and we are getting this response. This may be any technology, like this may be Java service, Python, or maybe a Node.js service, whatever it is. But it's a HTTP call. So I'm just making a HTTP call and it is giving response to me back. This is how we can deploy our node code also.
Mm-hmm.
We have deployed in our local host. We have given some URL. If we hit our URL, it's giving us response. This is how some other systems will use our systems as an API or microservice. Okay. So now we are going to connect from our system to this system to take this data. Here, this is get call. I don't need to pass any parameters here. Now we have pasted this in service 2. So we need to connect the service 2 to the router. Let's create a new router for getting this downstream details. And this is detail. So I'm going to create a new route for getting these downstream details. I don't need to pass these parameters, or I don't need to get from the UI because for downstream I don't need those details. I'm just putting some consoles here just for ensuring whether it is passing correctly. What was the service name here is the downstream detail. And here I'm going to require service 2 because the service is now requested from service 2. Correct? JSON service 2. JSON service 2. No need to pass these arguments. So I'm directly passing the callback. So now we have made it. So from the app.js, it will come to the what is the exact root slash API slash v1 users. It's also your post service call. So from the if I hit from the UI, it will come here slash users. Again, it will go into users router. So that is there in root slash users. So inside the users router, I'm going to use this route get downstream details. So it will again go into this path, okay, downstream users. So again from here, it will check for JSON service 2. It is connected to the folder services, and I'm taking the observe service 2 here. And I'm going to get downstream details method. So inside service, it will check for get downstream details. If that method is not found, it will throw some error. If method is there, it will have that. And now it will hit this URL and respond us back. Okay, let's have a try. Now it's showing cannot find request module, right? As it is an
Yeah.
npm module, we have not yet installed this, and it is not a default module that is given by Node also. So we need to manually install that. Npm install request hyphen save. Okay, now we are trying to start the server. Now it started. Let's make a hit. Why it is not? Why it's showing some error? Callback is not a function. So inside JSON services, some error we got that is callback is not a function. So let's debug it. JSON service 2. If some errors are thrown means callback is not a function, we should see the stats. This is the
Oh.
error stat, how the methods are called from line by line. You can see from which line it is throwing the error. You can see that my app slash services in slash JSON service 2.js, line number 12 colon 9. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to the line. JSON services 2, line number 12 is this is one. They are showing the callback is not a function. So the reason is in the root from here we are calling, we are just passing only one method from here. So the first argument is the callback method. But in the service, we are using 4 parameters. The fourth parameter is the callback. You got it right. So the argument is mismatchy, the count. So the
Okay.
call is throwing some error called callback is not a function because callback is not yet thrown from there. So now we are removing the unwanted parameters. So now only one argument is passed here from the root. So again we are trying to restart the server. So now we are hitting that service. We got some response from there, but that is not the actual response we were waiting. Let's see what's coming from there. So it is throwing some big console here. So we need to comment that back to check our console. So let's Error response and body. Actually, we should send the body. So you can see that in the console we got the data. Inside I'm in REST services. Inside slash get downstream detail.
Mhm.
So that so we have entered into the root and the response to yes. So in not error, actually we got the response in the body.
Mhm.
So from the request model, they are passing three arguments for us. One is error. If we are getting some error whenever we are accessing downstream systems, they will pass that error in this first parameter. Error can be anything because there may be a network delay or their server can be stopped because we don't know about the downstream system side. So if
Mhm.
we get some errors, we'll get that value here, the error parameter, and we should handle this error here. We can directly pass that to the root level. Otherwise, we can directly handle. We can write some logs here for debugging in the future. And in the next one, response. So in the response, they are sending the entire response, and the third one is the body. Body part is the actual body part they are sending us back. So the exact content. So now the response we have sent back the response to the UI. So that's why in this console we got this response. The response is now what we are going to do is instead of so you can see that the responsive objective what are the protocols we have it. It's a protocol is HTTPS. Path name is AP users
Mhm.
and the URL H reference URL all the details will be there. But now instead of response we are going to pass the body value. See now we got some JSON response here. So now this response is coming from a third party system, that is downstream system, not directly from our system. You got it? But we are accessing our server, get downstream details. You got it right? How it works?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now let's try with some other system. Okay, now I'm going to take this single user. Now I should get this data. So I'm changing this. I'm changing the URL. Again, I'm restarting this server. Now you can see that only one response I got, similar to this.
Yeah.
So this is how we are connecting with downstream systems. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in real time, we won't directly get data from the downstream systems, and we won't show directly to the UAs, right? Instead of that, we'll take the data and we'll process with that, and we'll send that back. We may add something, some new objects, or we may alter the data based on our
Mm-hmm.
requirement and send back. Correct.
Okay.
So, for
Yeah.
example, we'll try with that. So here we are getting get downstream details. For that, we are going to write another new object in this same service too, and let's name it as alter downstream details. So let's use the same URL, and if we get the body, so let's have something. So inside that body, we have some object called data. Now, so the default response is first name is Janet and last name is Weber. We are going
Mm-hmm.
to change this data. Okay. So how we are going to add this? From the body, I'm accessing some object called data because they are wrapping the data inside a data variable. I'll get an object. So inside that object, I have something first name and last name. So first name and last name dot first name equal to my test name. Wait a minute, Priyanka. Facing
Yeah,
some
yeah,
internet issue. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll reconnect.
yeah. Okay, okay.
So are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have altered the first name and we can alter the last name also. Last name. we will add some more object from our side. So for example, data dot my new app data. It is an object with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the key and some values. Contain some of the key with some of the values. So it is some junk data I'm adding into the data I got from the downstream system. Now I'm going to send this back to the UI. Now I'm hitting this. This is for just to get downstream details, but now our root is okay. We have written a new method here, but we didn't write a new root. So let's write a new root. I'm going to write for altim terms data. I'm going to call this method here. Now I'm going to alter downstream data. Undefined. So now it is showing some error in the line number 29. We are going to line number 29. It is showing body.data is undefined. So just have a try by printing the body. Body. Now in the body, actually we have an object with name data. Okay. So now it is throwing some error, right? It is unable to find out body.data. So let's check the type of this body. You can see this. The type is actually string because in the internet over HTTP calls, all the response we're getting is always string, not as the exact object type. So that's why we are unable to directly set body.data or something. So it is throwing some error because the body is string. If you put body.length means it will count the entire string length and it will throw you because the type is string. So now we need to pass this to the JSON object. You know, right? What is JSON? A normal JSON object. only the JSON can hold these objects. So now what we are going to do is body equal to. Now we got our altered data. So you can see the something we have added, my new app data, and we have renamed the names, my test name, my test name. Got it?
Yeah.
So now we got the data from downstream system and we are altering the data and we have sent back to the system. So some in real-time examples we used to like this.
Mm-hmm.
But not only directly from downstream system, we can take data from a Couchbase or MongoDB or MySQL and we will convert that data to the JSON format, and we'll add something, we'll delete something, we'll update something, again we'll send back to the UA. This is how a general flow will happen.
Okay.
Okay. Then, so here you understand the concept of callback right here,
Mm-hmm.
how the callbacks work. Here we are making one asynchronous calls because the callback handles the asynchronous calls. If you're just if you are writing or if you are calling a method and returning using the keyword return, that is a synchronous method. Here request is a method. We are passing URL as the first argument, and this will go into that request module. They will parse everything and they will hit the downstream system. They will get the data, and again they will call. We are in the second argument. We are passing the entire method as an argument to this request. So they will call our callback method with the success data on the body and send us back. So this method would be executed there once the success of this request. I mean, this will happen inside that request module we have installed, right? That
Mm-hmm.
one. So the data will be set on this body. So this is an asynchronous call. It will take some time. So you can see that how that asynchronous works. Now this is a request call. At the end, I'm printing something console.log. So I'm printing number threes and I'm at the top. I'm printing something log number one. And inside this method call, I'm printing something that is number two. So can you guess the order of the printing? One, two, three. Okay. Now I'm going to call this method. So which console will come first? Do you have any idea?
Um,
Maybe
the
this kind of
outside,
questions maybe you can face in interviews.
if I so the outside one, the three.
Okay, you are saying about three. The next one,
Sorry?
I want the sequence of one, two, three. Now I'm going to call this method alter downstream details. So one, two, three would be printed in the console, but what would be the sequence? Which one will come first? Which one will come second? Which one will come third? Do you have any idea?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, I'll explain you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I call this method, first let's see the result. So now I have executed the method. You can see that the sequence is 1, 3, 2, correct?
Yeah.
Not 1, 2, 3. Why? Because the first in the first line I have written 1 in line number 25 2 and 3 is coming as last. But it is printed as 1, 3, 2. This is
Because it's
how, yeah,
a synchronous call.
yeah, good. That's why this is an asynchronous call. In the sequence, it will be executed first line this, and it will start that request call and it will trigger that, and the request call would be running, but the console 3 won't wait for the response of the request call 3. If it is synchronous, it would be 1,
2 and 3.
and after we got the response from request only, it should print the 3. So as everything in the node runs asynchronous, it is throwing first the console of 1 and the console of 3 and finally console of 2 is coming once the response from the request is coming back. So you got it right how the asynchronous flow works.
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. So this is how the callbacks and asynchronous works, and in the next class we'll see something called callback help. Because in the real-time examples we won't hit us only one downstream systems or only one couch-based call. I mean only one database calls. We will make so many calls. We'll make a loop of the calls, right? Once inside another call. We will take this based on this response. Again we'll make some call. Again we'll take the response. Based on the response, again we'll make some database calls. Like that, we will make some looping of the asynchronous functionalities. This is how in real-time systems we will do. So in that time, there will be something called callback hell will be happening. So how we will handle that, and what are the ways to handle this looping of multiple asynchronous calls? Okay, we'll see in the upcoming class.
Okay. And also, can you share me these files which you have created?
Yeah, sure. I'll send you.
I mean, in WhatsApp or anywhere, it's okay. Or email.
Okay, I'll send you through email itself.
Okay.
Okay. So for sending email, actually node modules will be a very big in size. You can see this
Yeah. Yeah.
10.115 MB. Okay, so I'll delete this node modules.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I already have and I can install again.
Okay, you can use using npm install. Okay,
npm install. Yeah. Yeah.
Your mail ID?
It's Priyanka Munjapra. Uh,
Priyanka
or you can just
M
write Priya Munjapra. Sorry, Priya Munjapra. This is another one. Yeah.
MUN
Munjaapra
MUNJA PA RA at
at gmail.com.
cross check once. Priya Munchapara, right?
At Gmail. Yeah.
For security reasons. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll directly upload into Google Drive and send you the link.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
The spelling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have said you.
Yeah.
We
I
just
got.
download, use npm install, then npm start, and have a look into that. You can add your
Yeah.
own controller services, everything. We just have a
Yeah.
try with that. If you face any issue, you just let me know. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, Priyanka. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm